Okay, back from sanding off the shattered remnants of the old tenons. No drama. It turned out that the tenon on this Castello, it was glued actually. Somebody had, it was super glue, not Gorilla Glue as I originally guessed. And it sitting cockeyed was because it was just barely in there but stuck with the glue. I don't quite get that, but anyhow, it popped loose with no real difficulty. And this other guy, this Bang, that came out cleanly. And before getting over to the drill press, I want to discuss a couple of things here. The size of this tenon I mentioned earlier, I guessed it about 2.6 or 2.7. Turns out it's even less than that, 0.25. And I also weighed the pipe, and it's over 80 grams, 81 grams, which is just flat too small in my repairman's opinion. Now, I know the guys who make these, well, they just recently retired, but they were at this for like 35, 40 years and have made thousands of pipes. So I don't understand what they had to have a reason, but I don't understand what it was. I wish they spoke English and would answer their phone. I would ask, but that's not going to happen. So I can only speak from my own position on this, or perspective, that as a repairman, I'm not a pipe maker, I see far too many of these heavy, large pipes with small tenons that snap off when the tenon is integral, meaning it's machined from the same material as this. Now, if you lined it with stainless steel or used Delrin, that could be a different story. Now, Delrin would still be kind of flexy, but even at this thickness, but it almost impossible to break this stuff. But this way, I've fixed a couple of dozen of these things fairly recently, the past few years. And if you're a pipe maker, don't go this small if you have the option. There's no reason for it that I can think of, and it's so easy to just pick another drill bit and cut them larger and not have to worry about it. So there you go. Now, how when we repair this, I'm not just going to cut a piece of Delrin to this size and make this thing over again. I've already been in contact with the owner of the pipe and recommended that it be made larger in diameter. And he said that's a good idea, and proceed. So I'm not sure quite how much larger, but it'll be somewhat larger. Well, then you're left with the problem, how do you make this hole bigger? And you don't just take a drill bit and start twisting in there. That will get you not what you want. The tool of choice, they're called chucking reamers. They've appeared in a couple other of these videos, and they're stepped in size like a set of drill bits. And you start with one that'll just fit in there and then move up to the next one and the next one until the hole is the size you want. It takes a bit of practice to not get things cattywampus. You can, it feels like it's always going to be square and you don't have to worry about it, but they will cut sideways enough to get out of square if you're not very careful. I would recommend practicing with some chucking reamers first before you attack a real job with them. This one, I'll just use a one size up, clean up that hole a little bit. There's some glue on the walls and stuff, but other than that, we should be good to go. Another item of interest here, that we're going to be chucking this up. Here, think of that as the end of your average stem. And something that most people would not guess is the case is that some pipes will actually be, instead of like this one, they'll look like that. Or that, doesn't matter, which it's off center. And you're wondering how in the world that happened. Well, it's a machine used in a lot of English pipe making back in the day that could end up with this result. I won't go into the technical part of it, doesn't matter. But it is important to note that when you drill the hole that's going to hold your replacement tenon, you cannot center your new hole on the old airway. If you do that, your tenon is going to be off center by the same amount as the airway is to this one, to the center of the tenon here, and you'll have it will not fit the shank. So what you want to do is drill the new hole center to the base, the outline of the base, which is almost always, you don't want to, when you're scrubbing away on this guy, you don't want to take that little base off, because that's your reference there. But you want to drill in the center, and I didn't even quite hit center here with this little drawing. And what happens when you have a pilot hole, the old airway, that's not where you want the new hole to be, you got a problem. And in the following sense, that the drill bit of trying to drill the new hole is going to bend, it's going to curve and attempt to follow the pilot hole. That's why they're called pilot holes. So don't fall into just chucking it up, getting it square in the center of the old base and giving it a stab with a drill. It's not going to behave the way you expect. The drill bit itself is going to deflect, and you're going to end up with a slightly curved hole at an angle, and that's no good. So the reason for bringing all this up is there is a quick and easy solution, but most people don't know they exist unless they play around on a lot of tooling websites. You can get drills that are called centering drills or stub drills that are solid their entire length except for minimal flutes at the end, and they will not bend. You can chuck them up all the way down to where there's like 3/4 of an inch remaining, and this is plenty of, this is 3/8 of an inch in diameter. So that will not deflect. You can line this guy up dead center and plunge it in there, even if the old airway is off to one side, and you'll get the hole you want. So these are generally available through machine supply places. I got these from McMaster Carr. They're very handy and helpful people, so go to them if you can. I don't think they ship outside North America, though. In any event, now what you know what you're looking for. The internet's a big place. So that is it. I will now prep these, at least one of them, and get the thing in position to actually drill it, and explain whatever I need to at that point, and we'll be done. I won't continue this with showing you the actual gluing procedure and all that, because it's already been done. There's a set of videos I made some time ago, like a year and a half ago, maybe the third or fourth in line, that covers that whole procedure. The point of this was to go into more detail about drilling this hole, and that means how do you grab one of these guys firmly enough that you can work on it with power tools and not damage or mar or dent the surface, and still have it XYZ. It's completely aligned in every direction you want it to be aligned. So that's the point of this, and once the hole is drilled, this will be finished. This bit of information will be finished. So there you go. I'll shut her off now and meet you guys at the drill press.